Shalom family, welcome back. How is everybody? Hope you had a good weekend. So, perfect timing. I've waited for this day to do this. It's been a crazy year. We're only 20 days in. 20 days. I can imagine what's to come. Can't even fathom. But, just more madness, more distractions, more craziness. Just to distract us from what's coming. War, the digital prison, and also to distract us from the fact that we're getting robbed blind and we should not be having it. So it's look here, look there, oh, this is happening, that's happening, using all the issues which we actually care about, raising scandals up and down again, keeping it in circulation. It's just getting stupid now. It really is. What's to come? Just more madness. I mean, man, I'd planned to go on, but I can't be bothered, man. The farmers' strikes, bringing back old news stories, terrorists, LA fires. Oh, man. I mean, don't even get me started on the farmers' strike, man. Come on, you must have been paying attention. You must have seen it. You must have seen it. It's like copy-paste. How many countries have had a farmers' strike? Although it may be for different reasons, but still. You know? I was on the train going somewhere that day and I saw them all in their costumes, the flat cap, the barber's jacket, the check shirt, the corduroys and the wellies. And I was just thinking, you know what, if you knew you were going to go to protest and be standing around all day, would you really put the costume on? Is that what you wear all the time, farmers? Do you wear your farmer's costume? Oh man. And I'm thinking, what? How comes, I'm sure there's 101 things to do on a farm every single day. But you guys have got time to come down and protest. And I'm thinking, oh, did you really drive that tractor all the way from your farm? Really? From way up there, all the way down the A1, the M25, and yeah. And it's like nobody had like a 20-year-old tractor. All the tractors, all the same brand, all kind of new. And you saw all the blue ones in a row, all the green ones in a row. And of course they had their celebrity idol leading them, Jeremy Clarkson. Unbelievable. I wouldn't be surprised if what's really going on is that actually people are buying up farmland and they're not farming on it. They're keeping it to sell on at a later date and earn millions, absolute millions, and sell the land off because they know what's coming, the processed food and everything. Having to buy food from elsewhere. Isn't that what the Polish farmers were upset about? Because they had to buy food. They were buying the produce from Ukraine. I said I wouldn't go there. I said I wouldn't go into it. I can't help myself sometimes. Anyway, I want to read something. It's from the Apocrypha. Just humour me, please. Just humour me. I know a lot of people, the Apocrypha, it's not God inspired. It's not God inspired. But if this was fictional, whether it is or if it isn't, just humour me. You would still get the point I'm trying to make. When I read this, NASA comes into my head as the first thing, but really you can apply it to so many things. You never get, you know how I'm always saying, you never get the chance to go straight to the root of the problem. You'll never get the chance to really find out, set up something to find out what's really going on. So I'm going to read Bel and the Dragon. When King Astyages was laid to rest with his ancestors, Cyrus the Persian succeeded to his kingdom. Daniel was a companion of the king and was the most honoured of all his friends. Now the Babylonians had an idol called Bel, and every day they provided for it 12 bushels of choice flour and 40 sheep and 6 measures of wine. The king revered it and went every day to worship it, but Daniel worshipped his own God. So the king said to him, "Why do you not worship Bel?" He answered, "Because I do not revere idols made with hands, but the living God, who created the heaven and earth and has dominion over all living creatures." The king said to him, "Do you not think that Bel is a living God? Do you not see how much he eats and drinks every day?" And Daniel laughed and said, "Do not be deceived, O king, for this thing is only clay inside and bronze outside, and it never ate or drank anything." Then the king was angry and called the priests of Bel and said to them, If you don't tell me who is eating all these provisions, you shall die. But if you prove that Bel is eating them, Daniel shall die, because he has spoken blasphemy against Bel." Daniel said to the king, "Let it be done as you have said." Now there were 70 priests of Bel. 70 priests of Bel, besides their wives and children. So how many people is that? 70 priests. So each one's got a wife. That's 140. And then children. So you could say like over 200 people. Easily over 200 people. Now there were 70 priests of Bel besides their wives and children. So the king went with Daniel into the temple of Bel. So the priests of Bel said, "See, we are now going outside. You yourself, O king, set out the food and prepare the wine and shut the door and seal it with your signet. When you return in the morning, if you do not find that Bel has eaten it, we will die. Otherwise, Daniel will, who is telling lies about us." They were unconcerned, for beneath the table they had made a hidden entrance through which they used to go in regularly and consume the provisions. After they had gone out, the king set out the food for Bel. Then Daniel orders his servants to bring ashes and scattered them throughout the whole temple in the presence of the king alone. Then they went out, shut the door and sealed it with the king's signet and departed. See, something's there set up to prove this would never happen, because usually this day and age the king's in on it, or the king is under duress. Or the king's just straight up wicked. After they had gone out, the king set out food for Bel, and then Daniel ordered his servants to bring ashes and scattered them throughout the whole temple in the presence of the king. Then they went out, shut the door, and sealed it with the king's signet, and departed. During the night, the priests came as usual with their wives and children, and they ate and drank everything. Early in the morning, the king rose and came, and Daniel with him. The king said, "Are the seals unbroken, Daniel?" He answered, "They are unbroken, O king." As soon as the doors were opened, the king looked at the table and shouted in a loud voice, "You are great, O Bel, and in you there is no deceit at all." But Daniel laughed and restrained the king from going in. "Look at the floor," he said, "and notice whose footprints these are." The king said, "I see footprints of men, women, and children." Then the king was enraged, and he arrested the priests and their wives and their children. They showed him the secret doors which they used to enter to consume what was on the table. Therefore, the king put them to death and gave Bel over to Daniel, who destroyed it and its temple. So the priests, the wives, and the children, over 200 people upholding this nonsense about Bel eating the food. Now think of the average people in this town, this city. They got 70 trusted people, the priests, plus the king. Daniel, of course, was a conspiracy theorist for doubting it. But he got a chance to prove it was all nonsense. Rubbish. Tripe. Poppycock. But just think of how deep that is. Over 200 people. Everybody keeping stum. The wives, the kids. And blatantly deceiving the people and creeping in and eating all the food. Eating and drinking. Letting everyone believe that this idol is real, eating the food. On and on, on. Whole families. The children of the priests would have grown up and took their places and kept this going on. Kept the nonsense going on and on and on and on. Selah. Now in that place there was a great dragon, which the Babylonians revered. The king said to Daniel, "You cannot deny that this is a living God, so worship him." Daniel said, "I worship Father Yah, for he is the only living God. But give me permission, O king, and I will kill the dragon without a sword or a club." Then the king said, "I give you permission." Then Daniel took pitch fat and hair and boiled them together and made cakes, which he fed to the dragon. The dragon ate them and burst open. Then Daniel said, "See what you have been worshipping." When the Babylonians heard about it, they were very indignant and conspired against the king, saying, "The king has become a Jew. He has destroyed Bel and killed the dragon and slaughtered the priests." Going to the king, they said, "Hand Daniel over to us, or else we will kill you and your household." The king saw that they were pressing him hard, and under the compulsion he handed Daniel over to them. Because their little bubble was burst, and Daniel proved it was all nonsense. People don't like to know that they've been tricked. People don't like to know that they've been wrong, so they hold on tight to the lie. Especially when it's coming from an outsider Daniel's a Jew, these are Babylonians, so they are furious that he's dismantling all their nonsense. Comfortable lies, uncomfortable truths. Comforting lies, sorry. Comforting lies, uncomfortable truths. I hope everyone's paying attention now. I know people are paying attention. People are starting to see it. Everybody's talking about it. You see how people put themselves in place as heroes. Like I said months ago, once this ceasefire starts and the hostages are released, it means the job is done. Palestine is flattened. Now everybody's rubbing their hands at rebuilding contracts and rebuilding this new Jerusalem. The ball's starting to roll. It's all starting to unfold. If you know the book, you know what's happening. You know what they're trying to unfold. But a certain person wants to made the threat a couple of weeks ago, and now he wants to take credit. Oh, I came in and I did this and I did that. And now look, the hostages are back. I'm the hero because he needs a win, basically. He needs a win because people are like, hold on, what's going on? You said this, you said that. And it doesn't look like. But he didn't say he was going to put a stop to the war in Israel. He said he was going to put a stop to the war in Ukraine. It's just typical. You see, it's like a big bully. A big bully. Putting pressure and pushing around little countries. But when it comes to the other big countries, the other big boys, silent. Leaves them alone, stands down. Oh, let's talk. Be very interesting to see what happens in the next 6 months. Very interesting. I would recommend watching 2073, even though that's still from a kind of, it's not mainstream journalist point of view, but it's still accepted, allowed journalist point of view. They're allowed to be opposition, controlled opposition, shall I say. Because when I see these people bringing out so much truth and then I see them on the mainstream news, it's like, you side-eye these people. "2073", interesting documentary. Very interesting. So I said, it reminds me of NASA. We just go along with what's said. When once again, I'm going to say it, like, technology's come so far, cameras are absolutely brilliant, amazing, and they still show us nothing. They show us absolutely nothing. These annoying celebrities. Really annoying celebrities. Blooming copycats. Absolute copycats. Never let a good crisis go to waste. So over the last few months, I've seen Richard Branson capitalizing on the post office scandal. I think it was Mr. Bates. He invited him over to his island for his honeymoon. And of course, Sky News were there to film it all. The dude should have told him to stick it, mate. Should have told him to stick it. But who knows? His wife probably said, "Oh, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. Blah blah blah. Let's have a great honeymoon. If he's offering, we might as well take it. Let's have a memorable honeymoon. We've been through hell. You've been through hell, whatever." But the way I see it is like, where were you when they needed a good lawyer? Where were you when they were getting thrown in jail? Where were you when they were losing their homes? Mr. Branson. And you had to have the camera opportunity, didn't it? John Bon Jovi, supposedly talking to some woman, talking her down off of a bridge. She was supposed to jump over the bridge and commit suicide. And it's like, oh yeah, you just happened to be there. Yeah, you just happened to be there. One of the world's most famous rock stars just walking casually across the bridge, minimum security, hardly any security, and people say, "Oh well, but he was filming something," and it's like, exactly. If he was filming something, there would have been film crews regulating who is on the bridge. It would have been only the cast going on the bridge, and it's highly unlikely the woman would have chosen to try and commit suicide right there while they're trying to film something. It's just like, oh my gosh, man, you guys ain't even trying anymore. We see straight through it. See straight through it. And I'll just leave the LA fires to you guys. If you know about Maui, Australia, and all these other places, that's not just natural. And once again, it's so disappointing to see believers just jumping on it so quickly. Oh, this is God's judgment. It's God's judgment. Let it play out. Let it play out. Give it a year or two, maybe even 6 months, and just watch. God's not going to judge them for them to just rebuild back. They're building back better. It's a land grab, pushing all those people out of their homes, so all the new millionaires can buy something and build their super smart homes. It's just so obvious, man. It's so obvious. Ridiculous. You got a home in the middle of green trees and it's burnt to the ground. And all the average people's homes, every single one in a row, completely burnt to the ground. Every single one in a row. Nothing is as it seems. Oh man, it's interesting, but it's so frustrating, man. It's interesting. I just end up laughing at the telly. Laughing at the telly. And I'm like, come on, man. This is too easy. And it's so stupid to see people running around in circles. This is season great evils, man. Great evils. And we're getting closer and closer and closer. And people want revolution. People are, oh, you're just sitting there, just talking about it. You're doing nothing. What about action? Let's do something. Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no. No, they're already ready for you. They're ready for you. What do you think AI is all about? 5G, all these cameras everywhere. There are street cameras absolutely everywhere, but you can't spot them. Facial recognition, the lists. Watching that documentary 2073, it just confirmed everything, man, for me. It just confirmed. I've been getting a lot of confirmation lately. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are out there who say, oh, you're just mouthing off, you ain't got no receipts and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I just sit here and I just let it play out. You find that you don't actually need receipts. If you've known what's coming for a long time and you can see it, because it's been done somewhere else, it's been done before, because history is repeating itself. It's been done many times before. It's playbook. So watching that documentary 2073, so, look, I don't live in China, and China is China, where that like you said before, that's their kingdom. We will never know the truth because propaganda wars, lies. We don't get their social media, they don't really get ours. But their system, where they've graded the people. This is what this documentary said. This is not me, but I do know they do have system from their social credit and everything. We know about that. And this is why you see the world, oh, we need China, blah, 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 this, that. They're going there, they're admiring their systems, they want to know how their system's working, how it's built. And that's why I said I'm not excited about BRICS, because who knows what we know what it leads to. We know what it leads to. It seems like they're doing a great work, but it's written in the book what's coming. The MOTB. So it can't feel like a great work. It looks like it's leading up to that. So the grading system, basically, the people, it's like normal, suspicious, and normal, suspicious, and untrusted. And a lot of you're all being put in those categories from who you are, what videos you listen to, who you listen to, your likes, political beliefs. Are you into pop music and stuff like that? Do you stand with Ukraine or do you stand with Israel? Then you'd be put in normal light, obviously, and you're into pop music, and you're one of those people who believe in nothing but the 6 o'clock news. Then you'd be graded normal. But anyone who thinks for themselves, anyone who's willing to speak up and ask questions, untrusted. No, suspicious. And those who are just totally awake and say, do you know what, I'm done. This is nonsense, man. I am done. F this. Untrusted. It's already here, people. They just haven't gone live. We're already living it. And when the hammer falls, a lot of you are going to find out which category you're in. But own it. Own it. I've been doing it for a while now. I would love revolution, but nobody's got what it takes. People don't understand what it really takes. And I was there 5 years ago, and I learned very quickly that people, they ain't got the stomach for it, they ain't got the balls for it. And everything's set up in place. Everything's in place. It's too late. So many traitors. So many traitors. "70 priests with their wives and their families." And that's not even to mention the people who were under duress, the people who are being blackmailed, people who are compromised, and people who are just straight up would do it for money. This is how a revolution will be crushed immediately. And that's why I believe is part of why we're living this cost of living in all the Western countries. Because it's the Western countries which could lead the way, especially America. Because they have pew-pews, as everyone says. That's why we're being crushed. Everyone's suffering. So you can offer people money to do whatever. And some people don't even realize. They just take the check. They don't realize they're being traitors to humanity. You see, these people who I could kind of forgive, but the ones I can't forgive are the ones who are in the club, the shop callers, the masters, and the familiars, the ones who seek to be in the club. Have you been paying attention the last couple of weeks? The last couple of weeks, yeah. I spy with my little eye a certain person on the nightly news brandishing his black eye. Did you see it? Have you noticed? You've been paying attention. This dude's brandishing his black eye on the nightly news, and then straight away he's whisked off to LA just in time for the fires to cover the story and make a documentary. And then straight after that, he's whisked off to Washington to cover the inauguration. Clive Myrie is finally a made man. He has a robe, a great name, and a place in the courts. Next stop, Buckingham Palace, Clive? Traitors to humanity. The worst kind. Peekaboo, brother. Peekaboo. These are the people who there's no forgiveness for. Traitors to humanity. I understand there's many other reasons why other people would do it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And we've been through this before. It's no coincidence. You would think if you're a talking head, you're in the public eye. Excuse the pun. You're in the public eye, and they would say, okay, yeah, do you know what? You got a black eye. Take a week off. We can't have you on camera with a black eye. Take a week off and you'll be back. But no, brandishing. I already showed you this like 2 years ago with the great earthquake in Turkey. And the lady from Sky News, she was brandishing her black eye, advertising all these orphan children running around. And you wonder why you can't get a proper inquiry. Because they're all in it together. All in it together. And covering their tracks. I said this a long time ago. So I will be watching very closely what happens in LA from now on. Because it's either one thing, they're building back better digitally, and then it'll just be like the 80s lifestyles of the rich and famous, and they're all like MTV Cribs, and they're all showing off their brand new smart homes, making the whole world covetous, saying this is a great idea, it's fantastic, we need to do this as well. Because that's who we are now. That's who we are. We just see celebrities with something. We see something new, and then we're all just we want it, and becomes the norm. There was to be a revolution, and we were all to join together and unite. You saw it just a couple of months ago in the summer. What would happen? All the secret societies come out and they will make it about race. This happened again and again and again and again. There's always somebody who would take the money. There's always compromised people. There's always agents embedded. And then they muddy the water. And certain people get locked up and the key gets thrown away. And others make deals. Or they get away with it, or they can get a great lawyer, or they know somebody. And it would take serious violence, like in revolutions of old. I mean, it goes way back to the Bacon Rebellion. You see, when you know these things, you think, you know what? What's the point in revolution? At the end of the day, we don't even belong here anyway. This is your country. You do it. Because time and time again, we know what's happened. And no one's got the stomach for what they did during the French Revolution. Nobody's got the stomach for that, all the balls. Well, some people have, but these are the people who end up swinging because people will give them up. What happened to Guy Fawkes and everyone? It's just history, man. It's just. I know people are angry and they want to fight their way out of this, but it's got too far. Everybody is in place. They're all in it together. They've got all bases covered. And everybody's there to gaslight the hell out of you. And it's just so ridiculous for people. Oh, it's Boris Johnson. No, it's Rishi Sunak. And then, no, it's Keir Starmer. And it's like, oh, crying out loud, man. Oi. These are the kind of people you don't want involved if there was to be a revolution. Because they just don't get it. Because it involves putting heads on spikes. And number one, as a believer, we can't do these things. It's not our kingdom. It's not the way. Vengeance. It's not the way. But you know, people are going to want court cases and nope, no. All bases are covered. They will find some way of wriggling out of it. And some of these people, you don't even know their names. The only way you can fight, the only way you can really fight back is to just come out of all this bullshit. It's nonsense. Just stop. That's the way you fight now. Just stop. Stop it all. I don't buy big brands anymore. None of that nonsense. These are all the people, man. I'm telling you. This is all of them. They're all in on it. And they're all going to own us soon. And everything around us. And I don't get why it's like big businesses are complaining now. Oh, this, blah, 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 because they really don't want to pay people a decent wage. But if they don't get it, if the people don't have money to spend, we won't be able to have money to spend in your companies. Which means you're going to go under anyway, eventually. So instead of trying to... See, they want to pay you little, but they still want you to come and buy their stuff. So this is how we fight. We stop buying their stuff. But nobody's up for that. Nobody's up for that. really, these people with small businesses, medium-sized businesses, they should be on the same side as us. Because when they go under, we're going to be laughing, saying, you didn't want to pay us a decent wage, now look at you. We're going to have no sympathy for them because they didn't join us. Because they wanted the profit. And I know that's not everybody who has business, but I've seen it. There's a lady who does sushi around the corner. Now, she's not from the country, she's not Japanese, she's not even like East Asian, but she does sushi. And I buy her sushi, like, just like, the avocado and cucumber rolls. And now she wanted to charge me for a sprinkle of the dried shallots on top of my sushi. She wanted to charge me £1 for it. So I was like, are you serious? I thought she was joking. She was serious. Just for a sprinkle of dried shallots. £3.50 I'm looking to pay for just these little rolls of rice, cucumber and avocado. £3.50, right? And she wants an extra £1 for a sprinkle of dried onions. So I just put it down. Make people realise you just lost £3.50 because you wanted to earn an extra £1 for just a sprinkle of something. In the supermarket, ladies, oh, did you pay for that bag? Did you pay for that bag? Did you pay for that bag? So I said, darling, look at how much does it say on my receipt? How much have I paid? How much have I spent? And she said £30. And I just walked away. And she goes, it doesn't matter. You have to pay for the bags no matter what. And I just walked away. If she had kicked off and got the security guard and tried to make me pay for the bag, I would have demanded a refund. I'd have demanded a refund. Then you lose £30 over 30p. And it would have meant that I would have had to go all the way to across the other side of the borough to do that same shop again. But this is the way I'm going now. Sometimes you have to take a stand. That like things like this really piss me off, and I take a stand and I waste a lot of time, or just for standing up for what I believe in. Standing there in the queue for 10-15 minutes just to go to a person rather than the machine. But let these people talk themselves out of a job. This AI thing is the final nail in our coffin. It's the final nail in our coffin, people. And we're just letting them do it. Because they have pound signs in their eyes and they're promising you everything's going to be amazing. When has everything been amazing? When I think about our generation, they got us hooked on all the toys and all the nonsense and this kind of lifestyle. The late 90s and the noughties, early 2010s, were good years, man. That was getting us through our 20s, getting us used to this lifestyle. And then 2016, it's just been slowly creeping down. 2020, boom. Now we're all suffering. We're used to, it's all been taken away from us. We're all struggling. We're wondering what the hell happened. It's all by design. Now they're going to sit, now they know what people will do just so they can get back to that lifestyle which they've grown up, which some of their friends have. All by design. And it's frustrating to see, man. It's so frustrating to watch. If we thought it was bad, we ain't seen nothing yet. And everyone's to say, "Oh, just take it. Just get that chip. You know, it's convenient. It's for the environment." I had a conversation with somebody, and I said, "See your phone. I bet you've got your banking, your Oyster card, everything's on there. Everything's on there." And they said, "Yeah, well, it's just convenient, isn't it? It's just convenient." And I was like, "Exactly, exactly. But your phone can be stolen. You can lose your phone. So you know what's coming next." Oh my gosh, who's been watching Silo? Oh my god, that's so good. That's my shit right there. That show is jam packed. Jam packed. As always, listen to the rants, listen to the statements. The scheming, the backstabbing, the brainwashing. Oh, it was just so good, so interesting. I was upset that now it's finished. Because I watched both seasons back to back. Because shows like that you can't watch just waiting every week and then wait next year for the next season. It's best to watch these shows 2 episodes a night, so you're following the story. You remember everything. And I like the way it ended. They're about to show us how they got in the bunkers in the first place, what happened. So that's going to be very interesting. Because watching this show, Silo, we're watching the future of these millionaires. We're watching their future. Oh, man. So we just got to sit this out. Let it play out. Normal, suspicious, untrusted. Which one are you? Which one are you? And you can just imagine what they call normal. Look at the way people behave on social media now just for attention. It's really getting out of hand. Seriously out of hand. I mean, see, look how people are crying and weeping and tearing their hair out because TikTok's gone. And their livelihood was on there. Their validation was on there. Their confidence. Their appreciation, their accolades. It was all on there. All on there. And for it to be taken away like that, people fall apart, all crying, saying you'll never forgive the US government. What do you think it's going to be like when they get rid of the cash? And they want you to take this mark, to get the job, to go to the concert, to go to the football. To even have a social media account. Loads of us see it. We see it. Loads of people see it, and even more people are seeing it. But what people don't see is what it's leading to. And you just can't talk to people. I'm exhausted. Like, I just end up laughing, and I just know they're just going to do it. They're going to take it. That's why I keep saying this is what we're going to see. We're going to see who's who. Everyone can talk, but we'll see who's who. Some of us are going through this early so we can talk to you and let you know what's coming. We really going through it, man. That's what we signed up for. And it's, I don't know. So it's difficult, but when you read in the book, count it as joy. Romans 8:18. The blessings will be nothing compared to the suffering. And sometimes you got to think, you know what? It's also frustrating to hear people say, oh, just concentrate on Jesus, concentrate on Jesus. Jesus was a revolutionary. He was an extremist.